We are now talking to Richmond baseball head coach and former Dodgers and Cardinals infielder, Tracy Woodson. Tracy, what's up, bud?
What's happening? How you guys doing?
We are good, man. You know who you look like? You look like my friend. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to throw him off on this, but you look like somebody I know. It's pretty crazy. I have to send you the picture. You will be very surprised that you look like this guy. But
Okay.
I'm going to send
out.
it. I'm gonna check this interview. But how are you and your family doing after the whole pandemic?
We're great. Everything was fine, and just glad it's that. Well, I don't guess it's completely over, but we're through the most difficult parts of it. So everything is great here.
As everybody knows, we are talking to Richmond baseball head Cardinals infielder Tracy Woodson. So before we get into some baseball, Major League Baseball, and your career, what is it like playing professional baseball and then all of a sudden, over the last couple of years, transitioning as a head coach for college baseball?
It's different. I played for 14 years, and I coached and managed for 8 in pro ball. So I was 22 straight years in pro ball, and then I was remarried and had a daughter that was born during that time. So I stopped the pro ball stuff, and it took me about a year and a half to get a college job. And so this will be my 17th year, and it's just different. I kind of run my own schedule, recruit the players that I want to play for me, and not what's given to you, in pro ball, and set my own schedule. So it's a lot more family time, and I'm big on that. My pitching coach has 2 young kids, and he'll come to me sometime to say, hey, Tracy, got a T-ball game today. And I said, go, we'll change practice time around. I don't miss my kids when they play. So that's important to me now. And I've actually got an older son from my first marriage. He's 33. He's the head tennis coach at Baylor.
Really?
So,
Nice.
Yeah. So it's one of the top 5 programs probably in the country for tennis.
Good for him.
They've got it's amazing. My son and I are getting ready to go there Thursday. And he's got, the best facilities in the country, indoor, 6 courts, 12 courts outside. They pack the place when they play Big 12 matches. And so it's, so I didn't, see him a lot when I was, in pro ball, just because of, the situation,
Right.
But everything's great now.
So since the last time we had you on the show, the transfer portal has been very active in college sports, particularly with football, but even in some of the other sports too. So how has that changed the way you've coached and the program has really managed a lot of these players?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't like it for college baseball. They've done away with the one-time transfer rule to have where you have to sit out for a year. So it's the wild, wild west in baseball too. And we fill spots that are needed immediately. So if I lose 2 catchers, I can go out and get a grad guy or somebody from out of the portal, and you try to fill in a spot that's needed. We don't bring in grad guys not to play. So we're not going to over recruit in that sense. But I think you'll see that with most schools now. You'll see guys the next year playing somewhere else that you played against them. They were at another school the previous year. So. It's a different animal now.
As everybody knows, we are talking to Richmond baseball head coach and former Dodgers and Cardinals infielder Tracy Woodson. Tracy, when you talk about recruiting, and it's so different when you talk about college recruiting for football and college recruiting for basketball. What is it like going out and trying to find a pitcher that would fit your team, or an infielder that will fit your team? And a lot of these baseball players, they play 4 years of college baseball. Most of them don't do what football players do. After 2 years, they can go to the NFL. And basketball players, they play 1 year and they can go into the NBA. So what do you look for in a pitcher, an infielder, or an outfielder with a good arm? What do you look for when it comes to talent when you're recruiting a player?
I think most coaches in college, you're looking for athletes. You're trying to find that athlete that can play. You're looking for pitching. When I go out, I'm not a pitching guy, but I look at somebody that's got, the arm is loose. I'm not going to get the 95-mile-an-hour guy to high school. They're going to go to a Power 5 or they're going to get drafted. So, I'm looking for those guys that have a loose arm. They got a little bit of velo, but somebody that can, really pound the strike zone. Those are the kinds. And then we have to get them there and develop them. I can watch a kid play shortstop, take ground balls, and just watch his actions. Launch angle came out a few years back, man. I could not stand it. you're telling kids launch angle and this many degrees, and kids are swinging up. And when your bat doesn't go through the zone for a long period of time, you're just looking at kids that are going to strike out. And we played a few teams in college like that. Shoot, we chew them up and spit them out. It's just it's not good. I mean, you're trying to teach young kids to hit the baseball, to make contact, and so we're looking for the swing. We're looking for really good actions, and I think then your admissions at Richmond, it's like an Ivy League school, man. It's really good academics, and we have to have those type of kids that we bring in.
So do you think in college baseball as a whole, you think it'll ever prioritize to where it gets more analytical than it does traditional? Because we've interviewed a lot of other coaches, too, who have said that the starting pitching is still kind of traditional in college baseball. Do you think it'll transition where the analytics take over, or do you think it'll stay that way?
I think you've got different views. I'm not a huge analytics guy, but, I've got young coaches that are all about it, and they bring me, they'll bring me statistics and, just different matchups, and I'm listening to them. It's hard for me in college. Your starting pitchers are your best pitchers. You may have one for us, for a mid-major. We may have one or two guys in the bullpen, but my starting pitchers are the best pitchers. And for me, if they're going, 5, 6, 7, 8 innings and they're doing well, I'm not taking that guy out. We're not going to throw them 130 pitches or something. We're monitoring their pitch count, but, I think it's hard to do that in college because we don't have 15 guys you can throw out there that can get anybody out at any time. So we have to have our best pitchers out there as much as we can.
As everybody knows, we are talking to Richmond baseball head coach and former Dodgers and Cardinals infielder Tracy Woodson. So why don't we get into what went on this year when it came to baseball? You played for the Cardinals and the Dodgers, two teams that were high-profile teams. The Cardinals making it as a wild card. The Dodgers obviously having the best record in baseball and falling completely on their face against the Padres. What were your thoughts this season with the Cardinals play and even the Dodgers, who were just absolutely fantastic in the regular season, and I don't know, they forgot how to swing in the playoffs?
So I'm actually I am doing a radio show here in Richmond once a week before each series, and I'm picking each series and picking the teams. And I grew up in Richmond, so I know a lot of people here too, and people were shocked. I had the Dodgers losing. I had the Yankees losing. I really thought the Yankees would lose the first round as well, but when the Dodgers were set up and win 111 games in a bad division. That's just not a very good division this year. Your second place team is San Diego, that 22, 23 games out of first place. But once you got past Will Smith at the cleanup spot, there's a lot of strikeouts. Muncy, Trace Thompson, Taylor, Bellinger. It's too many strikeouts. And when you get into the playoffs, you're facing teams that have at least two giant pitchers that can handle the hitting. And, I think the layoff probably hurt them a little bit as well. Taking as being the number one seed and getting 5 days off or 6 days off, whatever it was. And the injuries they had in pitching, I mean, they were set up for the long haul. They have 18 to 20 really good arms, and they can rotate them during the year to survive and win 111 games. But when you get to the playoffs and it's only a 5-game series, they weren't going to hit. And, they were, San Diego was better in that series.
So you were a guy that played both first base and third base in your career, and we've seen a lot of utility players, guys that are multi-positional, take over the game. Can you see it getting to the point, maybe outside of a pitcher and a catcher, where it gets very specialized, or not the opposite of specialized, where it gets very versatile and it takes over, where it becomes kind of positionless in a way?
I don't know. I think I really like that we're going back to the shifts, no shifts next year. I think it's taken away from the game. I mean, it's, you don't have a ton of guys hitting over 300. You don't have a ton, you got to hit the ball out of the ballpark, or you got 7 guys playing on one side that, most guys that they can't go the other way. And that's just part of it. But I think it brings back a lot more excitement with that rule. I'm not in favor of the pitch clock. We've got that in college, and I just don't like it. I know some kids are slower than others, but to me, the time is, gosh, you're giving 2.5, 3 minutes in between innings. Take some of that time away too. But, when people pay their money, they're not looking for a 2 hour and 5 minute game. There's nothing wrong with a 3 hour game. So But I think the specialization, if you can have guys who can play multiple positions, that's great. But go to the Dodgers. Bellinger's played right field, center field, first base. Muncy's first base, second base, third base. Turner's been out. I mean, put somebody in a spot and let them stay there. The right left stuff. These guys are good enough hitters, to be able to face righty and lefty pitching, to be able to hit the ball. But I think when you don't have, you got 15 guys that are getting over 100 at bats or whatever it may be, I think that's a lot. I mean, when you're sticking with the teams that, I go to Houston. I think Dusty Baker is a great manager. The players love playing for him, but you watch and Verlander's going 7 or 8 innings. It's just they don't take it. McCullers, is going to go as long as he can because he throws so many breaking balls, but he stays with them when they're hot. It's not 5 innings and now you're done because you're going through the third time through the lineup. I think that's difficult. And, then you're relying on 4 guys to come in for 1 inning each. All 4 guys aren't going to be perfect. And that's what happened to their fifth, fourth game when they got eliminated. 2 of their guys come in and give up 5 runs. And they blow a 3-0 lead. Anderson had 84 pitches in 5 innings, 1 hit, 8 punch outs. I don't know why he comes out of the game.
Nobody said Dave Roberts was the best postseason manager either.
Well, he set up the win during the regular season, and but the other thing is too, you got to be hot. I mean, if you get cold in the playoffs, you can be eliminated so quickly.